Here's Johnny.
Good to see you.
It's good to be back.
Since we all just spent so much time together over Christmas, I thought I should tell you a story about what it's like when you spend too much time with your family. Here's The Shining.
You and Danny are gonna love it.
So we meet Jack Torrance, who's interviewing to be the winter caretaker for the Overlook Hotel. It's up in the mountains, so nobody can get to it in the winter, and somebody needs to make sure it doesn't burn down or some shit. They can't risk an early or late snow stranding people at the hotel. So he, his wife Wendy, and their 5-year-old son Danny would be by themselves the whole time.
Well, let's just wait and see.
Jack thinks it'll be perfect for him because he's trying to write a book, and months without having to talk to anyone but his wife and son will give him the opportunity.
Our season here runs from May 15th to October 30th. Then we close down completely until the following May.
5 months of peace is just what I want.
Someone's not counting.
Feel free to check my math.
But Danny doesn't want to go to the hotel because his imaginary friend Tony doesn't like it. But Tony won't tell him why because he'd rather be a cryptic asshole.
I just don't.
Danny begs him to tell, so Tony shows him flashes of these creepy twin girls.
We're not twins.
And the elevators of the hotel flooding the halls with blood.
Well, it's certainly got plenty of that.
Okay, that's actually pretty disgusting and probably not appropriate for kids.
Then Danny is so traumatized, he goes catatonic, and Wendy has to call a doctor. She's like, he's fine physically, so the problem's emotional. Is there any reason why this kid would be mentally fucked up? And Wendy tells him that his violent alcoholic father hurt him once, but he's fine now.
Something good did come out of it all because he said, I'm never going to touch another drop.
It was 3 goddamn years ago.
And he didn't. And he hasn't had any alcohol in 5 months.
Here's to 5 miserable months on the wagon.
Your math is blowing my mind.
But Danny started talking to Tony about that time, and the doctor's like, well, that explains it. He has an imaginary friend, because his dad's an asshole. But the hotel manager doesn't seem to think so, and offers him the job. He even warns Jack that some people don't want the job, because about 10 years ago, the old caretaker Delbert Grady went crazy and killed his family with an axe.
Could have happened to anybody.
But that doesn't seem to bother Jack at all, and he assures them that he will not get so annoyed with his family that he hacks him to death with an axe.
And that's not gonna happen with me.
But I don't know how Jack's supposed to make it 5 months when he could barely be locked in a car with his family for 5 hours. He's clearly irritated with him and can't wait to get to the hotel. In fact, they get there so early that they have a chance to eat before he was supposed to arrive.
I made the trip in 3.5 hours.
Wow, that's a very good time.
I can't take it anymore.
Then in true boomer fashion, Wendy and Jack leave their 5-year-old unattended, playing with sharp metal darts while they check out the apartment.
I found him outside looking for you.
And while he's alone, those twin girls come in.
We're not twins.
Then they just fuck off without saying a word.
That's rude.
Jack and Wendy finish the tour of the hotel, including the snowcat, which will be their only way to leave once the snow comes in. Then Wendy gets Danny to tour the kitchen with her and the Overlook chef, Dick Hallorann. He seems to know stuff about them before they say anything, and while showing them the pantry, speaks to Danny in his head while continuing a conversation with Wendy out loud. So when the manager wants to show Wendy some more crap, he offers to look after Danny so he can see how developed his powers are.
Do that thing I taught you the other day.
See, Dick and his grandma were both a little psychic and could talk to each other telepathically like Jean Grey and Professor X, and they called it The Shining. So Danny tells Dick about Tony and that he doesn't remember things Tony shows him. Real useful psychic ability there.
I don't think you are aware how great it is.
But Dick warns him that he may see scary things, but that they can't hurt him.
It's just like pictures in a book, Danny.
Oh, like the twins?
We're not twins.
Oh no, there's a lot more crap than them. Like the whole hotel was built on top of an Indian burial ground, where they even added to the body count as they built the hotel. I guess the local tribe didn't like them building shit on Grandma's corpse.
Have you no respect for the dead?
But after he lets him know not to be scared, he tells him no matter what you do not go into room 237.
So stay out.
A month later, Danny's riding around the hotel while his dad sleeps in, and his mom serves him breakfast in bed. She wants to spend more time with him, but he blows her off to throw a ball at a wall.
It's important.
So she and Danny spend the day learning the giant hedge maze.
I feel like I'll have to leave a trail of breadcrumbs every time I come in.
The next day, Jack's actually getting some writing done when Wendy has the audacity to come in and try to have a conversation with her husband. So he rips her a new asshole and tells her to fuck off and to never come back into this room again.
Wasn't exactly in the greatest mood that night.
But you'd think that if he wanted privacy, he wouldn't have picked a huge-ass room that intersects with the whole goddamn hotel.
You have the rest of the hotel to move around in.
What did she do that was so bad?
Oh, she offered to bring him food and told him that it was going to snow, which might be important information for the care of the hotel. You know, the whole reason he's here.
Have you ever had a single moment's thought about my responsibilities?
So after they get a metric fuck ton of snow, Wendy and Danny play in it, while Jack creepily stares at them out the window.
A kind of self-induced trance.
And a few days after that, the phone lines go down, and now their only way to talk to anybody is with a ham radio in the manager's office. Then Danny sees the twins.
They're not twins.
And this time they talk to him and ask him to join them.
Come play with us, Danny, forever and ever and ever.
It always takes a little time to make new friends.
Yeah, I guess so.
But a few days later, Danny's sneaking around trying not to wake up his dad when he sees him just sitting on the side of the bed being fucking weird. Danny asks him if he would ever hurt them, which makes Jack think that Wendy's been talking shit about him.
That bitch. As long as I live, she'll never let me forget what happened.
Then a few days later, Danny's playing with his cars when a ball comes rolling at him down an empty hall. When he goes to check it out, he finds room 237 open, and after remembering that Dick told him to stay out of there, he goes in.
It's a lot of fun, but I wouldn't want to go in there unless I had an hour to spare.
A little while later, Wendy hears Jack screaming from all the way across the hotel and runs to him.
Did he find Danny dead?
No, he just had a nightmare where he chopped them all up with an axe.
Oh, well, fine then. I feel so much better.
But as he's telling Wendy about the incredibly violent thoughts, Danny comes into the room sucking his thumb with a torn sweater and bruises around his neck.
But if she could hear Jack from that far away, wouldn't she have heard Danny scream or cry?
Well, she was down in the boiler room doing the work that Jack's supposed to do for the hotel, and Danny's a pretty quiet kid, so he may not have screamed. But Wendy naturally blames Jack because there's no one else there, and he has a history of being a violent drunk.
I wouldn't touch one hair on his goddamn little head.
But Jack's like, what the fuck? I was just here taking a nap while you did all the work that I was hired to do.
Well, that sounds fine to me.
So she takes Danny up to their apartment, and Jack goes to the hotel bar.
But he's not supposed to drink.
Well, that doesn't matter because they don't leave alcohol there over the winter. But that doesn't stop him from looking.
We always remove all the booze from the premises when we shut down.
But then he says that he would sell his soul for a drink. And all of a sudden, the bar is fully stocked, and Lloyd the bartender gets him some whiskey.
That'll do her.
He tries to pay in cash, but 1, his money's gone, and 2, Lloyd seems to expect it.
I'm not supposed to.
And after just 1 drink, he gets drunk enough to confide his deepest, darkest secrets to Lloyd.
I had an accident, goddammit.
Then Wendy comes in armed with a baseball bat looking for him.
Is she gonna beat him up with the bat?
No, she's there to tell him that somebody else is in the hotel.
We got a stowaway.
You mean other than Lloyd?
Oh, he's not there. Neither is any of the liquor. And if she wasn't freaking the fuck out, she probably would have realized it's not a great sign that her alcoholic husband is sitting at a bar when he's upset. But right now, she thinks there are more important things.
There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms.
Jack thinks it's bullshit, but he agrees to check out the room.
I'm intrigued.
He goes to see if there really is a psycho bitch that tries to kill children, but it turns out there is. But she's super hot, naked, and wants to make out with him. So he's like, okay, and makes out with the chick who just tried to murder his son.
You have the slightest idea what a moral and ethical principle is, do you?
Because the power of boners is strong.
Exactly, but apparently not that strong, because the hot chick turns into an old rotting corpse while they're kissing.
You want to talk about shooting a man's horse? Wha!
Well, I wonder how his wife's gonna like this.
I'm sure she'll be absolutely fascinated when I tell her about it.
Well, first he has to get out of there, which is hard because the old bitch just chases after him like, give me that dick. But when he gets back to their apartment, he tells her that no one was there.
There ain't nothing in room 237.
Do you remember if you smelled anything funny or saw anything at all strange?
And Danny must have just strangled himself. So she wants to get Danny out of there and to a shrink, which makes Jack freak the fuck out. He tells her that he's doing really well on his book, and he's not going anywhere, so he goes downstairs to throw a baby fit.
Yeah, he seems absolutely fine now.
He sees evidence of a party and goes back to the gold room to get another drink, but this time, the ballroom's full of people.
A little slow tonight, isn't it?
He pulls out his wallet to pay again, but this time the money's there. But Lloyd still won't take it.
Your money's no good here.
Jack's confused, not about the disappearing and reappearing money, but about who's paying for his drinks. But Lloyd says, trust me, bro. And he's like, okay, why not just trust the bartender that appeared out of nowhere right after I offered to sell my soul? Nothing weird about that.
I mean, he seemed like a completely normal individual.
So he gets up to join the party, but is immediately spilled on by a waiter who takes him to the men's room to clean him up. He introduces himself as Delbert Grady, who Jack recognizes as the one who hacked up his wife and kids. He calls him out, but Grady's like, that wasn't me, bro.
Charles Grady is the winter caretaker.
I do have 2 daughters, who are in fact not twins.
They're not twins.
He came up here with his wife and 2 little girls, I think about 8 and 10.
And I didn't chop them up into pieces. I just make them dress alike, which is almost just as cruel.
Sadistic fuck!
Well, why did he kill him?
Apparently one of them didn't like the hotel and tried to burn it down.
So they could shine?
Either that, or they were just little pyros.
I love fire, don't you?
So they're stuck there forever?
Yep.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
And look, I've been here at the hotel since it opened up about 70 years ago, and you've been the caretaker here the whole time. He then tells Jack that Danny's trying to bring someone to the hotel.
What do you want me to do about it?
And that he should correct him the same way he did his daughters, which he definitely did not murder with an axe.
It's just the sort of thing you do 100 times with a child, in the park or in the streets.
And Jack's like, that's a good idea, and fucks off. But just goes to do some more writing, while Wendy tries to get the courage to have another conversation with her husband. But Danny starts talking nonsense.
Redrum! What's wrong? Redrum! Mobile steel skin?
Danny, what's the matter, hon?
She's like, oh crap, now I'm really gonna have to talk to him. And since time is of the essence, she waits until the next morning to look for Jack.
As soon as possible!
So she takes her trusty baseball bat with her, but he's not in the writing room, but she does take the opportunity to see what he's been writing. And if I were her, I would be pissed. See, she's been doing his job for a month, doing all the cooking, serving him, letting him sleep in, all with the idea that he's gonna make a living with his writing. And what does she get for it? Hundreds of pages with the exact same fucking sentence typed over and over.
I just want to say I think it sucks. Being writers, they're too goddamn stupid to know it.
But as she's snooping, Jack comes in and scares the shit out of her. Then they have a mild disagreement on what to do with Danny. See, Wendy wants to take him to a doctor, and that pisses Jack off again, because he has responsibilities.
Well, why can't Wendy just take Danny and leave Jack there?
Because Jack would actually have to do some work if Wendy leaves. But he doesn't just say, it's not safe to take a small child on a snowmobile down a winding mountain in the worst blizzard Colorado's seen in years.
Do you think you can handle that?
No, he yells at her and slowly corrals her up the stairs while telling her he's gonna kill her.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. Wendy? Sally! Darling, light of my life. I'm gonna bash him right the fuck in.
You really should write poetry.
So she uses the baseball bat to keep him back, very weakly I might add, but eventually does hit his hand.
Purely an accident.
And then purposely hits him in the head and knocks him the fuck out.
Your wife appears to be stronger than we imagined.
He wakes up as she drags him into the pantry that conveniently has an outside deadbolt just in case a can of beans try to escape, and locks him inside. She then stands outside the locked metal door with a knife like her injured husband's gonna magically get out.
Is he gonna figure out a way out?
No, you idiot. He has brain damage.
He begs her to let him out, but she says tough shit. I'm getting out of here with Danny, and we'll send somebody up to get you. But he pulled a sneaky and destroyed not only the snowcat, but the radio too. So none of them can leave until spring. So she goes upstairs and takes a nap.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
But just before sunset, Grady comes to visit Jack and makes fun of him for being beat up by a girl. Then he double dog dares Jack to kill his family, which everyone knows you can't back down from.
I give you my word.
So he lets him out.
If you get the axe tonight, I go with you.
A catatonic Danny then sleepwalks into his mom's room, takes the knife that Wendy just left on the nightstand for her 5-year-old son to find, then takes her lipstick that she left open on the counter because apparently she wants to look good for her husband that she plans to leave locked up where he can't see her, and he uses the lipstick to write the word Redrum on the door.
That's a made-up word. What word's made up?
He also starts screaming it, waking Wendy up, who's scared enough to keep a knife with her, but not scared enough to sleep lightly. So she wakes up and takes the knife from him, but leaves it right next to his head as she tries to calm him down.
Now, come on, Tony. Don't be silly.
But she looks in the mirror to see what he wrote says murder, and that's when Jack starts breaking through their apartment door with an axe.
Oh, Jack! Thank God you're here.
Where'd he get an axe?
Oh, hotels used to just leave them out in the hallway in case there was a fire.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for.
Why would they need to do that?
Because back in the day, everybody smoked all the time and would fall asleep with cigarettes, so you never knew when something was going to catch on fire. But now that safety protocols have gotten better, they don't need the axes in the hallway, or maybe they just don't give a shit if smokers burn anymore.
now.
But Wendy takes Danny to the bathroom, locks the door, and tries to get them out a tiny window. But she can't open it all the way, and I guess she's afraid that the hotel people are going to be mad if she broke it, because when she realizes she can't get through, she just sends Danny through and figures it's easier for her to just die.
Everything's okay. Your dad's just got a headache.
Aren't they upstairs?
Yes, but there's a very convenient snowdrift going all the way up exactly to their bathroom window that allows Danny to gently slide down.
Can we do that again?
She does try again, but doesn't even bother to take her robe off to slim down.
You're not going anywhere.
And when she hears Jack coming, she just stands by the door, hoping to fight a guy with an axe with a chef's knife.
Come on, hon. Don't be so grouchy.
I'm not being grouchy.
But her plan isn't completely stupid, because she does manage to hold him up by stabbing his hand as he tries to open the door.
She seems to have got the better of you.
And just as it looks as Wendy's definitely gonna die, she and Jack hear a snowcat outside.
You're distracting me.
See, Danny pulled a sneaky and was spying psychically on them ever since Jack went into room 237.
So he was watching his dad make out with a dead chick?
I'm coming! I'm coming!
Yeah, but he knew he lied about it, and also that he promised to kill him. So he put out a force call to Dick all the way in Florida. So Dick got erect and immediately drove to the airport and took the next plane out there, and luckily got there before they closed the airport because of the blizzard. He then had to drive in said blizzard and get a local friend to open up and rent him a snowcat. Then he drove all the way up the super windy mountain road to come save him. So Dick penetrates the front door and then takes an axe to the chest and he dies.
You didn't see that coming?
Well, he stupidly started calling out for everyone as soon as he came into the hotel in a situation he knew was fucked up enough for a small child to use more psychic powers than he even knew were possible.
Simsalabim!
And this is after they were able to hear his vehicle for miles because there's no other sound around. So I'll give him an A+ for bravery and for work ethic, but a fucking F- for strategy.
No. Scared nothing here.
But wouldn't the shining help?
I guess he turned it off. He's had a long day, and jet lag's a bitch. Danny's still psychically linked to him.
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
Because he sees his dad kill him, but I guess he didn't feel like warning him. But him freaking out when Dick shriveled up let Jack know where he was hiding, and he chases him outside.
You better run fast.
Dick did succeed in getting Jack out of the apartment, giving Wendy a chance to escape. And for some reason, she decides to look for her son upstairs, knowing she sent him outside. But while up there, she sees some creepy shit.
But believe me, these episodes are not at all uncommon. And they look much worse than they are.
Oh, it's going to be the Indians.
No, I honestly don't know why his boss brought that up. Nothing happens with that. But she does see a formal dude getting his knob polished by a furry.
Don't king shame.
Shut up. I was just telling you what she saw.
Boy, I bet you we could really have a good party in this room, huh, hon?
Then when she gets downstairs, she finds a bloody dick on the floor.
Don't let it get you down, Mrs. Torrance.
And while recovering from that, some dude stops by to say hello.
Great party, isn't it? How do you folks like our hotel so far?
Oh, it's just wonderful.
And then blood starts cascading from the elevators, so now she's really ready to get the fuck out of there.
And I promise we won't keep her very long.
Now earlier, Jack followed Danny into the maze, and since there's only one way in the maze, you would think that he would just break the other snowcat and wait for him to come back out. But he figures, how hard can it be to track a 5-year-old in the snow?
Hard! Really hard!
Especially with a hurt leg from falling down the stairs.
Nothing I can't handle.
But he can still follow his tracks and chases them all over the maze. But eventually, the tracks just end, and he has to guess which way to go.
Which way?
No idea. Follow me.
Turns out, Danny pulled another sneaky and walked backwards over his own tracks and hid, waiting for Jack to choose a path. Then all he had to do was follow his own prints to the exit.
He is a very willful boy.
He gets out of the maze just as Wendy gets out of the hotel, and when she sees him, she stupidly screams his name, throws down her weapon, before confirming that Jack isn't following him with the axe. But lucky for her, he's still lost wandering through the maze. Betty wishes he went for a walk with them now. And also lucky for her, Dick left the keys in the snowcat, so they're able to make a quick getaway.
It's a 25-mile stretch of road. It gets an average of 20 feet of snow during the winter, and there's no way to...
But Jack hears them leaving on the snowcat.
See you later, hon.
Bye, darling.
And gives up on finding the exit because it's easier for him to just die. So he sits down, freezes, and he dies.
That's nice. That's the prettiest.
But then we see in the pictures in the gold room that Jack was there at a party in 1921, which is an issue for a couple reasons. Either Jack's a vampire, or the Overlook is a time vortex.
When I came up here for my interview, it was as though I'd been here before.
But either way, why would the winter caretaker be in the front and center of a picture for a hoity-toity 4th of July gala?
You're the important one.
We all have moments moments of deja vu, but this was ridiculous. That is, quite a story. It's okay. We saw it on the television.
I want you to have a good time.
Come and play with us forever and ever and ever.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
You're not too busy, are you?
Go check it out.
I wish we could stay here forever and ever. Why don't you start right now and get the fuck out of here?